Well, here we are. Is it midnight? Is it 12:01?
It's midnight.
It is?
Yep.
All right. Happy New Year.
You've heard?
Good riddance.
Oh.
There's confetti in them. Good riddance 2021.
Can we record?
Yeah.
No, you're just kidding, Brody. Brody, it's okay.
Oh, poor Brody. Okay. Those are fun. Those are fun, and they have confetti in them. I didn't know they had confetti. I just thought they were going to make noise. Larissa, and this is the annual New Year's card read. I haven't touched this deck since New Year's last year. And I've been considering getting a new deck for next year. The two decks that I have here, I have my Osho Zen, which is the one I've been using for a decade now, right? Mm-hmm. To do this read. And then I have the Doreen Virtue, one of the Doreen Virtue Angel decks. And both of these decks are somewhat controversial in that Osho is a controversial person, character. And Doreen Virtue has, did I tell you about this? Doreen Virtue has given up all things woo, and has denounced all of her card decks and has become a born-again Christian.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I don't know, there's something about that makes me not want to use her deck anymore. Uh-huh. If for no other reason than just like out of respect for what her personal conviction has become. Although I have to say that I do miss her commentary and her voice on things, and I do like her deck. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm going to. It's been a while since I've looked at decks, and I think I'm going to this year. Might be time for a change. Switch things up. So last year, I did the read a little bit differently than I have in the past. And I'm going to continue kind of in that methodology. Brody's decided that right now is when he's going to have some food. You enjoy your crunchies, buddy. Enjoy your crunchies. He says he will. Munch, munch, munch. I'm going to pull a card. The first card I pull is going to be for Santa Cruz. And then we'll move out from there. Santa Cruz is where we're located. The card after that will be for California. Then I will pull one for the United States. And then I'm going to pull by hemisphere and not by individual country. So again, my read is about getting an overview in the moment of energy that exists. It's not about determining the future. It's about looking at where we stand in the here and now. So this first card is going to be for Santa Cruz. Existence. It's funny. This card has been the first card to be pulled on a number of reads over the years. I remember like two other occasions where the existence card came up first. And it's a really pretty, this is a really pretty image. Person sitting on a lotus leaf, gazing out into the cosmos, experiencing what it is to be in relationship to the greater universe. You know, this one person which is quite in focus because we are in focus of ourselves, juxtaposed next to the expanse of the cosmos. I think this card is about evaluating our place in the universe. Next card is for California. Intensity. This is a major arcana card as well. Oh, I'm so tired. Getting old. The intensity card. I can see that moving forward from this moment on, moving forward with some sort of focus. And I definitely think that California has an intensity. There's a lot of differing points of views, and I think people are, no matter what their perspective is in this state about, politics or personal life or whatever, that those perspectives are very intense. I think people are very, very focused on what they think. It's a pretty card. Next card I'm going to pull is for the United States. The Master. This is another major arcana card, and this card is it shows a picture. This is a portrait of Osho, who is the master of this deck. But this card isn't about Osho, right? Osho is a metaphor in this card, and the master card. I think this is in relation to the United States. I think is about mastering the self. That's what this card is about. This card is about mastering the self. So in the context of the United States, there's so much unrest. There's so much unrest, and being able to master your own emotions, your own self discipline. Seeing that next to the intensity card of California, I can see those things being important themes. The need of self-mastery in the context of American culture. Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for the Western Hemisphere. So I'm going to do Western Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere, and Southern Hemisphere. So no matter where you are on the globe, no matter what continent you are on. Oh, did I was considering pulling a card for each continent. We'll do the hemispheres first. So this is for the Western Hemisphere of the globe. Another major arcana card, understanding. I think there's a lot of need for understanding in the Western Hemisphere. That there's both of individual cultures as well as between countries, and within countries there are many different cultures as well. And this is a relationship kind of card, and I think it's interesting to see there's these birds flying in and out of the cage, and there's this one bird is finally understanding that it can join the other birds if it just leaves the cage. Sometimes that is the hardest thing to do. to understand that to understand about yourself that, you're able to change a situation. The Western Hemisphere. Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for the Eastern Hemisphere. Brody, buddy, Mommy and Daddy, we're going to go to bed here in a minute. Brody has been itching to go to bed. He's like, are you sure we're not getting in the bed yet? Eastern Hemisphere. Oh my goodness, I've never seen so many major arcana cards come up back to back. This is trust. I can see that. This card, person jumping out into where you can't see anything and just trusting that everything's going to be okay. I can only imagine what it must be like to be, the average Chinese citizen right now with all the unrest that there has been and anger there has been towards Chinese government and things. It has to be very, very, very difficult. And I'm not talking just about China, but just talking about the Eastern Hemisphere. That's the first thing that came to mind for me. Must be very challenging, and trying to trust that, finding the strength within the self to trust that things are going to be okay. And again, this is another major arcana card. Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for the Northern Hemisphere. Completion. This card is about finishing a cycle, and there are many. There are many processes that are going on the planet at any given time, but things that are coming to a close, coming to a finish, or to a rebirth, because the cycle of life is really just is cyclical, but from our finite perspective, that there is a beginning and an end, and so that there is a time of completion when something is finished. So it'll be interesting to see what new things come in for the northern hemisphere of our planet with the completion of things that have been. And that is not a major arcana card. So we had 4 major arcana cards in a row there. The next card I pull is going to be for the southern hemisphere. Another major arcana card, the maturity card. The maturity card is it is about aging, but it's also about acceptance. About acceptance of what is, acceptance of the self, acceptance of others. That's an interesting. It's a really pretty card. Really pretty card. There, the images of an individual who is in kind of a meditative position, and there's a relaxed expression on their face, and the figure is filled with all of these natural kind of images, flowers and things, and once a flower blooms, it has matured, right? Southern Hemisphere. All right, I think I will pull for each of the continents. So I will start with North America. So this is all territories, all countries and territories that make up the North American continent. Another major arcana card, abundance. This card at this time, it's interesting thinking about that. There is a lot of abundance of resource still in North America, but there's also a lot of poverty, and how is that abundance? How is it engaged? How is it experienced? How is it expressed? And how is it utilized? Is it respected? Is it appreciated? I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't say that they're feeling very abundant, but the abundance does exist. And it's interesting because you have the night and day, right, represented in this, and so the idea of abundance, but also of poverty. These two things next to each other. Next card I pull is going to be for South America, or the South American continent. Stress. This is not a major arcana card, and I can definitely understand stress in South America. They're just thinking of, first thing that comes to mind for me is migration and immigration and movement of people from place to place, and feeling like so many people are in this precarious situation of balancing, so many things while there's a monkey waiting to pop your balloon, Next card I'm going to pull is going to be for the Australian continent. This is a major arcana card, the fighting card. A lot of people think of like Australia and New Zealand as kind of being the same place, but they are distinct countries with some very distinct cultures and some different ideas politically from each other as well. And there's also, there's just a lot of different ideas all the way around. And over the past year, something that comes to mind for me as far as fighting goes was the submarine deal with Australia that caused some discord with France. So there is some there are some tensions there. The next card I pull is going to be for the African continent. Politics. Africa, the country of Africa is not not a stranger to politics. Politicking, there's no place that is, that is a stranger to such ideas. But I think, particularly with the death of Desmond Tutu and some other diplomatic voices, that there's going to be a shift, and also different business opportunities or in Africa. Africa is often used by other countries also as kind of a political device. So interesting. The next card I pull is going to be for Europe, the continent of Europe. Creativity. I certainly feel like this is not a major arcana card, nor was the politics card for Africa. I certainly feel like there needs to be, or it has been, some creativity in particularly in relationships and in policy, and there's going to be a big change now with change of leadership both in Germany and France, and people have been very creative with, or are needing to be very creative with, in ways of moving about and problem solving. So I think that's what this card is about. I think this card is about creativity and problem solving. The next card I'm going to pull is going to be for the Asian continent. Friendliness. Well, Asia has definitely found there's been some interesting friendliness over in Asia, hasn't there? On the Asian continent, conversations between countries and groups that haven't really spoken before. I'm hoping that this is going to be this card. I'm hoping it would be nice to feel that friendliness was extended towards the entire planet, but I think that remains to be seen. I think this card is talking about partnerships, in particular new partnerships. One more, last continent is Antarctica. Integration. This is not a major arcana card, but I think this card is talking about Antarctica is really kind of a very shared place, and it's a rapidly changing place because of climate change, and I think this card is talking about the integration of all of the different inputs and interests that there are in the Antarctic continent. All right, I'm gonna look at this angel deck, and I haven't touched these cards since last New Year's. I'm gonna pull one card from the angel deck, and I'm gonna ask for one card with angelic message for the new year. Hmm. 17, the star. Happy times. Make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. On the right path. Well, this is a major arcana card. I certainly hope so. I think there's a lot of people who really, really need some happy times, some reason to make some positive, optimistic, long-term plans. It's something that we'll be doing as part of our New Year's Day later on after we sleep.
Yep.
We're talking about our personal goals together for the year. So this speaks to us on a personal level, but well, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do one more popper. Poor Brody. He just jumped out of his skin. Yeah. Happy New Year.